Y'all, let's dive into a conspiracy that's been bubbling under the surface for years, and it involves some of the biggest names in the music industry. I'm talking Diddy, Jay Z, and the late, great Aaliyah. Buckle up, because this ride is about to get bumpy.
That was a murder. You know what I'm saying? That was a spiritual murder, whether people know it or not.
Mary J. Blige, who was a victim of Sean Combs, are sitting there talking about the death of Aaliyah amongst each other. And yet, they had to sit there and have that conversation like they didn't know who did it. Sean Carter is responsible for enacting Hype Williams to put Aaliyah on a faulty plane to move her out the way as punishment for rejecting him, and so he could level up Beyonce, who was struggling.
Oh my gosh. Did y'all hear that? Mary J. Blige, the queen of hip-hop soul herself, just dropped a bomb that's shaking the entire music industry. She's out here confirming what many have suspected for years, that Diddy and Jay Z might have been involved in planning Aaliyah's tragic death. I know, it sounds like something straight out of a Hollywood thriller, but stick with me because this tea is scalding. Now let's rewind a bit. Back when Mary first spilled this tea, Jay and Diddy went into full damage control mode. They were working overtime to get that interview scrubbed from the internet faster than you can say 99 problems. They even threatened Mary to keep her quiet. But honey, the truth always has a way of coming out, especially now that Diddy's got the feds knocking on his door. Speaking of Diddy, let's talk about his relationship with Mary for a hot second. Y'all remember the infamous Puffy flavor camp, right? Well, apparently mentorship wasn't the only thing on the menu. Word on the street is that Diddy was giving Mary more than just career advice, if you know what I mean. And get this, there are rumors that he even got her pregnant and then forced her to terminate. I mean, can you even imagine the scandal if that had come out? Diddy cheating on Kim with Mary J. Blige? The tabloids would have had a field day. But wait, it gets even messier. Jaguar Wright, who's been spilling industry tea left and right, claims that Diddy wasn't just sleeping with Mary, he was pimping her out. According to Jaguar, Mary was doing all sorts of wild things at these freak-off parties in exchange for Diddy's support. And apparently, Mary wasn't just a victim. Jaguar says she was in on it too, even helping Diddy force other girls, like Cassie, to participate against their will. Jaguar even called Mary, the original Young Miami, the shade of it all.
Blige got pimped too.
She been around the long. She been around the long. She the bottom. She the original Young Miami. That's why he always got a group. Yeah, the Cassie and the Carisha.
And how she got to know too. She knew all
the three of them. Diddy and Mary and Cass. And Mary grabbing Cassie by the wrist. As a grown woman, ain't no child.
Wait.
You dragging her around for?
Mary
said, standing over Carisha like, all right, now get ready for this Tuesday. Look at the pictures. Her and Diddy out. And Mary always grabbing on Cassie arm. Like she knew Cassie was finna run. Maybe she was. Maybe Mary J. Blige is just a co-conspirator.
No.
She knows Diddy just about as well as anybody.
Who was the father of that baby that Mary aborted?
Oh, you talking about Diddy, baby?
I was just finna say it. Go on, tell it, girl, because they wrote it, told me too. Yeah. She said it. That's what they said.
She the original Diddy do-wop-bop.
Boo-bop-wop-wop-a-doo-bop-wop.
Did he make her get that abortion?
I'm sure he did. You know, he tried to kick it out. He got cheaper. As he got rich, he tried to kick one out, the little Asian girl. The Jenny old girl, the Gina. He said, the money, I'm just gonna kick this. And we know he can kick.
Now let's get to the heart of this conspiracy, Aaliyah's tragic death. According to Mary, she witnessed Diddy and Jay Z planning Aaliyah's demise. I know, it sounds like something out of a movie, but Mary sat in front of a camera and spilled this tea herself. Now Diddy's motives aren't super clear, but Jay Z? Apparently he had multiple reasons for wanting Aaliyah out of the picture. It all went down in 2001 when Aaliyah was in the Bahamas shooting a music video. But here's the thing, she wasn't even supposed to be there. The shoot was originally planned for Florida, but at the last minute, the director, Hype Williams, changed everything up. After After they wrapped the video shoot, things got real shady real quick. Aaliyah tried to hitch a ride on her friend Lenny Kravitz's jet, but Hype insisted she take the flight he'd booked. Aaliyah wasn't feeling it, but get this, they allegedly drugged her and put her on that plane while she was unconscious. Can you believe it? And we all know the tragic ending to that story. What's super sus is that Hype Williams conveniently didn't board that plane. It's like he knew something was about to go down, and it gets worse. The pilot was drunk, not certified to fly that type of plane, and had just been hired a few days before. It's like everything that could go wrong did go wrong. When all this came to light, people started pointing fingers at Diddy and Jay Z, especially Jay. Apparently, Jay had been trying to get with Aaliyah, but she wasn't having it. She was with Dame Dash at the time and just wasn't interested in Jay. And you know how some men can't handle rejection. Jay's ego took a major hit. Dame Dash even spilled some tea about how Jay used to invite Aaliyah to parties to try and seduce her, but she always felt uncomfortable around him.
You know, the Fiesta remix and Not Guilty, you know, and doing that and hearing how those two singles came out, we would always toss the idea back and forth, but it was just an idea, like we can do a whole album together. And we creative people, so creative people create.
Trying to get at her as well, and I didn't know. He was sending flowers and he was courting her.
Because the rumor originally was that you were connected to Jay. Exactly. Jay and I were hanging out a lot. He's my homie. We have a lot of fun together, but we never dated.
Now, here's where it gets really wild. Mary J. Blige did an interview just days after Aaliyah's death, confirming that it wasn't just a planned murder, it was a spiritual one. According to Mary, this was orchestrated to end Aaliyah's life early and use her soul to boost the careers of some very powerful people. I mean, can you even wrap your head around that?
My crew, you know, we put, you know, the stylists, we gave everybody ribbons, and this, I don't even know what to say. I just know that was a murder. You know what I'm saying? That was a spiritual, whether people know it or not, because God don't kill people. You know what I'm saying? Whether people know it or not. And I could go deep, but a lot of people I would have to really bring proof, you know what I'm saying, for what I learned. And she just was cut down in the prime of her life. And it's so unfair. And it wasn't time. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't, I believe it wasn't her time to go, because from what I know, it ain't supposed to go down like that. And just simple obedience, like, you know, your gut always warns you. That your gut never lies to you. And something like luggage and clothes and jewelry and all this madness that we worship is called false idols. We need to really look at the bigger picture right now.
But wait, there's more. Jaguar Wright came through with even more details. She claims that Jay Z was the one who told Hype to put Aaliyah on that plane, knowing full well she wasn't going to make it out alive. And the reason? Apparently, Jay was mad that Aaliyah chose Dame Dash over him, and he wanted her out of the way so Beyonce could thrive as a solo artist. I mean, the levels of this conspiracy are deeper than the Mariana Trench.
Sean Carter is responsible for enacting Hype Williams to put Aaliyah on a faulty plane, to move her out the way as punishment for rejecting him, and so he could level up Beyonce, who was struggling. Let's just say allegedly that happened. Now I want you to think about 106th and Park with Mary J. Blige. Free, who is a victim of Sean Carter.
Yeah.
Mary J. Blige, who is a victim of Sean Combs, are sitting there talking about the death of Aaliyah amongst each other. Think about that. You got a Diddy victim, you got a Jay Z victim, and you got a superstar gone. They know what happened. And yet, they had to sit there and have that conversation like they didn't know who did it. Think of the power of that moment.
Jaguar also dropped another bomb. She says Jay and Diddy paid off witnesses and made them sign NDAs to keep them quiet when the feds started asking questions. Apparently, 25 people signed these NDAs, which is why Aaliyah's death wasn't properly investigated. Nobody was talking.
Something where you're saying, I wish that situation would be investigated further.
No, to be investigated. Period.
Period.
It was never investigated. Hype was never questioned. Lenny Kravitz made a statement, and it was never publicized. She was unconscious. she didn't choose to get on that plane. There were phone calls made. There are witnesses who signed NDAs. Why would you need to sign a non-disclosure agreement about a plane crash and what happened leading up to it? Please, someone answer that.
Do you feel like the night?
Why the would you need to sign a don't ask about a plane crash if it was accidental?
Do you feel like
riddle me that? Riddle me that. Work with me here in this moment.
And I'm gonna ask you.
A plane crash should be accidental.
Should be.
Why would any testimony about what happened leading up to it need to be covered under a non-disclosure agreement if there wasn't foul play? Right after that, made a lot of money, including Sean Carter. Now I'm going to ask you, why would non-disclosure agreements need to be signed for an accident? There were over 25 non-disclosure agreements cashed out and recorded regarding the death of that beautiful girl and every other human being that died on that plane with her. What the would you need a don't ask for that? And Diddy had Hype Williams the balls.
Now, of course, the internet has been going wild with theories and reactions. One person pointed out that when a well-known celebrity like Mary J. Blige goes on national television and says Aaliyah's passing was spiritual, it's not just a conspiracy theory anymore. They said, you don't gotta be spiritual to know what she's talking about, because everyone knew Aaliyah was not supposed to go on that plane and eventually be gone. She was the youngest out of all those people who boarded that plane. Her time wasn't up yet. Another person straight up said Jay Z got her because she simply turned him down. Jay Z was jealous of Dame Dash. Hype Williams was the producer who got paid off for setting it up. Now, I don't know about y'all, but my mind is absolutely blown. We're talking about some of the biggest names in the music industry potentially being involved in one of the most tragic losses in R&B history. It's like finding out your favorite uncle has been leading a double life. But here's the thing, besties. We've got to remember that these are still allegations. Serious ones for sure, but allegations nonetheless. It's wild to think about how many layers there are to this story and how many lives have been affected by it. What's really got me shook is how long this has been bubbling under the surface. We're talking about events that happened over 20 years ago, but the impact is still being felt today. It just goes to show that in the entertainment industry, secrets can stay buried for a long time, but they always find a way to come to light eventually. And let's talk about Mary J. Blige for a second. Can you imagine the weight she must have been carrying all these years? Knowing something like this and feeling like you can't speak out because of threats and pressure? That's some heavy stuff, y'all. But here's what I really want to know. What do you think about all this? Do you believe Mary J. Blige's confession? Do you think there's any truth to these allegations against Jay Z and Diddy? And most importantly, do you think the feds will reopen Aaliyah's case after all this new information has come to light? This whole situation is messier than a toddler eating spaghetti, and I have a feeling we've only scratched the surface. It's like every time we think we know the full story, another layer gets peeled back, revealing even more shocking details. One thing's for sure, this conspiracy theory is not going away anytime soon. With Diddy's recent legal troubles and more people speaking out about the dark side of the music industry, I wouldn't be surprised if we see even more revelations in the coming months. It's crazy to think about how different things might have been if Aaliyah had lived. She was such a bright star, taken way too soon, and if there's any truth to these allegations, it makes her loss even more tragic. So what's next? Will more people come forward with information? Will there be a formal investigation? Or will this all get swept under the rug again? Only time will tell, but you bet your bottom dollar that I'll be here, keeping my ear to the ground and my eyes peeled for any new developments. In the meantime, let's keep Aaliyah's memory alive and celebrate the incredible music and impact she made during her short time with us. And let's hope that if there is any truth to these allegations, justice will finally be served. All right, tea lovers, that's all the piping hot gossip I've got for you today, but don't worry, I'll be back soon with more juicy details and shocking revelations. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications so you don't miss a single drop of tea. And hey, if you want to dive even deeper into this messy situation, make sure to check out our next video. We're breaking down even more shocking revelations about the music industry's dark underbelly. Trust me, you do not want to miss it. Until next time, this is Hot Gossip, reminding you to stay curious, stay skeptical, and always, always spill the tea. Bye.